Greetings again from the C.M. Russell Museum. Executive Director Tom Figarelle here, and welcome to another installment of the 2020 Art in Action Showcase. Given the dynamics of the COVID-19 pandemic, we're unable to connect you with these artists in person at our Art in Action event, which, as you may know, is an exciting variation of a traditional quick draw or quick finish. These conversations are the closest we can get to replicate that interaction. Here at these showcases, you get to hear directly from the artists. We have a conversation about how things are going in their world, what art they're working on, and what just inspires their creativity. We hope you enjoy these. As always, we want to thank D.A. Davidson Companies for their support of Art in Action and all education programming at the C.M. Russell Museum. Through their support, we're able to advance the art and soul of the American West. And we're joined today by first-time Art in Action artist, Greg Scheibel. Greg, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Tom. I'm happy to be here.
Well, excellent, excellent. You know, we'll start as we do with all of these artists showcased, given the dynamics that we have right now in our world. Just how are you doing? How are you hanging in there?
I'm doing real good, thanks. You know, I'm fairly isolated a lot of the time anyway, it seems like, whether I'm painting in the studio or out in the field. So I guess professionally, this hasn't changed a whole lot for me, other than, you know, a lot of shows and things like that being canceled. But I'm still painting every day and enjoying what I do. I think maybe the hardest part, and you know, it's weird for everybody right now, but all the social functions being canceled and things like that, it's just a strange world we're in. And you know, my wife and I, we miss a lot of that. You know, we still see a few friends and family, you know, enjoying life, but it's definitely different.
You know, it's interesting you use the word strange. That's for my wife and I, that is probably the best adjective we've come up with, given this entire situation. Is just strange, because it is so unprecedented and, you know, beyond many of our imaginations, I think.
Yeah, I don't think anybody could have predicted this. It's, you know, everybody's dealing with it the best they can, I guess.
Well, and we just appreciate artists like you that, you know, give us a little bit of an escape through the creative process and through having an opportunity to look at your great work, of which you have a piece over your left shoulder. If you wouldn't mind sharing with us what you're working on right now.
Okay, that is a painting of Decision Point on the Missouri River, where the Marias comes into the Missouri. And, you know, aside from being right in the heart of Charlie Russell country, it's, you know, got some historical significance with Lewis and Clark as they camped there for a week or two. I believe it was 1805 in June. And I took a road trip, done a couple this summer, but just camping out of my truck through central Montana, you know, getting material for paintings. And I got up very early one morning and I was there. And same time of the year as Lewis and Clark, so that, you know, the colors kind of the same probably. And so it's something close to what maybe they would have seen. So I thought it might be a good subject matter for this event. And so that's what I'm working on. It's not finished. It's, you know, I'd say I'm maybe 2/3 to 3/4 of the way done. You know, it still needs you know, tweaking here and there, and you know, refining a lot of things. But the foundation of the painting is there, so you can get a pretty good idea of what it's going to be like. And what you see above it there was a little field study that I did when I was there that morning. And it was right after the sun came up, so it was done very quickly because the light changed real fast. I had maybe 20 or 30 minutes on that little study, but that's kind of typical to the way I work. I try to do these little studies and just get a feel for the area and, you know, as close as I can to the values and colors of that particular scene. And I work from photos a lot also, but if I have a little study like this and can, you know, use in conjunction with photos, I seem to have better luck. And, so that was a real quick little one. I recall I was pretty hungry and wanted to get to Ma's Cafe and went for breakfast.
Oh, sure, sure.
But anyway, that's how that one got started. And you know, I like the flow of the scene from, you know, the little bench up there at Decision Point, and So that's why I chose that subject.
Well, boy, I mean, that piece is idyllic late spring in north central Montana. I mean, folks that are around this part of the state right now can know when they look out, they see an awful lot of brown. So when you've captured the greenery there, I mean, that is June in Montana, in this part
Yeah,
of the state.
I think it was actually like June 5th when I
Yeah.
was there.
Okay.
And I have painted that scene one other time, but it was in the late fall and totally different.
Oh gosh, I can only imagine. Probably some fall colors that pop from the trees as well as just the browns of the grasses as well, I can imagine. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's well, like any landscape in Montana, you know, we have definite seasons here. So.
We do, and none of them feel long except for winter. So, you know, I can appreciate that. Yeah. Well, you know, you mentioned the study and you mentioned getting out on site. Are those pretty consistent? I mean, is that how you approach virtually your creative process every time, is trying to get out in and amongst the subject you're trying to capture?
Not every time, but it's like I say, sometimes I'll just work from photos, probably more so in the winter.
Okay, sure.
It's not conducive to going out and painting when it's, you know, 0 degrees outside or something,
Yeah.
but I will go out in the winter also. But I spend a lot of time outside, and whether I'm painting or not, I still try to just, you know, really see things with an artist eye and take mental notes about an area. And you know, some things inspire me, and you know, you make those mental notes, and when you go back to paint something, that's kind of, those memories are what bring it back and let you put your own artist interpretation into something, I think.
Sure. No, I think that makes sense. And, you know, there's certain light that you're able to capture in person that sometimes you're not able to notice otherwise. And, you know, you mentioned the values that you're trying to capture. I can appreciate that, you know, there's just something to be said if weather allows and, you know, conditions and schedules, being out and amongst the areas that you're trying to build into your art. I think that can make good sense.
Right, and I think when you do paint outside a lot, those are the sort of things you look for, even if you're short of time. Whereas you might look back at a photo and the shadows all look dark and stuff. So when I'm out there, I might, you know, really try to look into those shadows and make them, you know, mental or
Sure.
other notes, you know, about what colors I'm seeing in there and things like that. And that's where actually spending the time out there on site, I think, is very valuable for a landscape painter.
No, no doubt. No doubt. Well, that's a wonderful piece, Greg. Certainly, I can tell that you've put, you know, your time and energy into it. I know folks will enjoy that. And we're just so grateful that you've lent your talents to Art in Action in 2020, it being your first year. And I'm just sorry that we couldn't have made your maiden voyage here into Art in Action a little bit more conventional.
Well, it's an honor to participate, and you know, hopefully I'll be in more down the road and it'll be back to normal. You know?
Well, I sure hope it will be too, but no, the pleasure is all ours, Greg. We appreciate your time and thanks for everything you do for the Western art community.
Oh, thank you very much.
Well, thank you folks for joining us. Thanks again to D.A. Davidson Companies for their support of Art in Action. We also want to thank Dave and Bridget Corner for their support of Greg. They have supported him as a sponsor. Their sponsorship support in turn benefits the C.M. Russell Museum. So thank you all for plugging into this latest installment of Art in Action. Be well.